If you're running a high-ticket offer, whether that's info, SaaS, consulting, high-ticket services, I'm now going to show you a very new and really the easiest possible and most effective sales funnel for paid ads that you can set up in literally one day and scale to 100K a month, 200K a month, 500K a month. Actually, the biggest brands that you see online just started using it now, like Alex Becker, for example, with Hyros, or Daniel Odds with Viral Coach, and they're all making millions of dollars a month, so there's not really a ceiling here. And after making multiple seven figures and high-ticket sales with classic VSL funnels, webinar funnels, we're also just now starting to implement this exact same funnel. And if you'd be smart about it, you'd also be implementing this right now because you're going to have first movers advantage. But hey, if you don't want to do it, that's on you. Okay, more money for us. So let's jump right in. So this is the whole board. It's packed with information, but it's just like the most important stuff that you need to go ahead and basically implement this for yourself. I'm assuming you're more advanced, so I'm not going to make this unnecessarily long. As you can see right here, again, well over seven figures in high ticket sales at our company. And I call this strategy the multi-avatar funnel, right? So I'm basically going to show you exactly how it works, like the overview. Then I'm going to show you an example of the funnel pages. I'm going to show you why it works and how to actually set up the ad campaigns and and also the creatives and then run them to that funnel, right? The funnel starts at the ad campaign level. I'm going to show you exactly how it works in a second. So the multi-avatar funnel with the newest changes of Andromeda, and again, this is all based on their own articles. I'm going to show you exactly why it works. Okay, they are saying that it's all about avatars now. Okay, you basically want to have an understanding of who you want to target, and then you're going to create your ads, and Facebook is going to take your ad and show it to your exact target avatar if you set it up correctly and pay attention to what is going to happen in a couple of seconds right here. But for each and every avatar that you are targeting in your business, you're going to have a separate sales funnel, right? If you're talking to software businesses and e-com businesses and info businesses, you're not going to run them to the same exact VSL funnel where you have the same exact general VSL for all of these avatars. Each and every one of your avatars is going to have its own respective funnel without a VSL. Okay, I'm going to show you how to set up the funnel pages in a second right here. It's so simple, man. You can set this up in a day. I'm not exaggerating. You can set this up in a day and run it profitably at multiple 6 and even 7 figures a month. Okay, this is what works right now. They just started to implement it, okay? So you're going to have a separate sales funnel starting at the ad campaign level to the very end of your sales funnel where they book a call and get closed. You're going to have a separate funnel for each avatar. It's going to have minimized friction, okay? And it's also a counter position because you're, first of all, talking to a specific avatar in each funnel and there is not a VSL that they have to watch before booking a call, right? It's a counter position because everybody else is running VSLs or webinars. Okay, you don't have to, it's much easier for them to go ahead and book a call. It's much easier. All right, and that's also why your cost per calls are going to be lower, and you're also going to have higher lead quality if you talk to this like exact person that you set up the ads correctly. I'm going to show you how to do that. You're never going to struggle with lead quality again after the Andromeda update. And also you're going to have higher conversion rates on the right leads because again, each lead has its own funnel. It seems like you're only talking to them, even though you have multiple target avatars. And this is so simple to set up with AI. Like a landing page like this, you can set it up in literally a couple of minutes with AI. I'm not exaggerating, okay? So how are the funnel, I'm now going to show you how the funnel pages are set up, right? And then now let me first talk about why it actually works. As you can see right here, this is how Facebook ads work right now. Okay, so they're basically going to retrieve all of your ads. They're going to analyze your ads with AI. So they're going to analyze your copy. They're going to analyze the person that's talking in the ad. They're going to analyze the background, everything. And based on the whole package and the words that you're using in your copy, they're going to understand exactly who you want to target. And they're going to try and find that exact that exact person because they have tens of thousands of data points about every single person. And they're going to serve your ad to that exact person. If you're talking to $5 million ARR SaaS founders and you talk about their exact thoughts that only they relate to, Facebook is going to understand that, and their AI is going to search for people exactly like that who you're talking to. They're going to take your ad and put it in front of that exact person. You're never going to struggle with lead quality again if you only fix your messaging and who you want to target and who you are talking to in your ads, right? It's also like, I have a lot of articles right here. You can check it out yourself, but yeah, they say it all the time. Creative diversification refers to the practice of creating a wide range of ad creators with different themes, messages, and visuals to cater to diverse audience segments, right? Or here, focus on creating multiple diverse ads variants with different attributes to reach incremental audiences. One way to do this is build avatars, personas that outline different customer needs and blockers to purchase, right? And then Facebook is going to serve them your ads. So you basically have to understand who you want to target, and you should already know your target avatar because again, I'm assuming you're already advanced, right? You should only understand who you want to target and then find angles to actually target them and let Meta do the rest. That's exactly how it works. Okay, so let's talk about the funnel pages. By the way, if you want to have a full funnel audit for free, right? This is not a sales call. There is going to be a link in the description. You can just check it out. I have a quick 2-minute video there that explains exactly how you can get that free funnel audit. I'm going to give you free value. Obviously, if you want to work with us afterwards, we can do that. But again, there is no sales call required for you to get it. It's just free value. You can do whatever with it. But yeah, check it out. First link in the description. But let's continue with the video. Now that you understand how and why it works, let's talk about the funnel pages and how to set it up, and then how you can set up your ad campaigns to basically run ads to that exact funnel. So let's just take a look at Viral Coach's offer right here. As you can see, Hyros is running the exact same thing, and other offers are also going to implement this. So the headline is your offer and tailored towards your target avatar that you're targeting in your ads before you send them to this page, right? So they have medical professionals right here. They also have another page with attorneys, licensed attorneys, whatever it might be, right? Offer plus target avatar. Medical professionals will get you 1 million views guaranteed. Or Hyros, 20% higher ROAS on meta ads guaranteed, right? Hyros actually lets you select what business you fall, like what category of business you fall into before they send you to this page right here. You can check it out yourself. It's also avatar based, right? And yeah, as you can see, no VSL whatsoever, very offer heavy. You need to have a good offer. I'm going to show you how you can reposition your offer in 2 minutes without changing anything about your service or product, so you can actually run this profitably. But yeah, direct offer, very strong offer, gets them to book a call, right? You have a form right here. Below that, you just explain briefly how it works, right? And then you have case studies. This does the selling on the page. They're, like most people, if they see the offer and they don't want to book and they want more information, the case studies are going to do the job, right? Because if they're talking to medical professionals, right, all of these case studies on this page are going to be for medical professionals. As you can see right here, holistic medicine, whatever therapist, right, dentist, performance specialist. These are all case studies for the exact person that they're talking to. They don't need a VSL anymore, right? Especially because they're used to VSLs. Everybody's running a VSL. Everybody's sending people to 2-hour webinars. Yes, they still work. We still run them profitably, right? We still do that. It still works. I'm just saying the market is shifting to whoever is going to have the easiest possible funnel or the easiest possible way to get the result that you're promising, right? And the market is going to shift towards that. In my opinion, that's why people are starting to implement this right now. It's shifting away from long-form stuff. The easiest way is going to win, okay? So you want to give them an easy reason to book a call. You have case studies. If they want more information, they can check out the case studies, and then they go ahead and book a call. It's going to have a low cost per call because they're not forced to watch a VSL before booking a call, what they're used to, because most companies do that, right? And also, if they want, okay, what happened here? If they want more information, right, once they show interest and book a call, right here, then, okay, they already filled out the fucking form, they already showed interest, they already committed to it, then you give them a VSL, a post-booking VSL that explains exactly what you do, the exact offer, the exact mechanism, why it works, okay, all of that stuff. You're going to have a post-booking VSL, right? And this is going to do the selling afterwards. So they already showed intent, and now you serve them with a post-booking VSL. That's what works right now because it's so simple. You can set this up in a day, all right? So the reason why, obviously, this is not like everything that happens, and you can have more stuff on this thank you page, for example, like FAQ videos with specific questions that you're covering, right? This is just like the simplest way that they're probably split testing right now, okay? But also like the whole thought process behind the pre-call process should be, once they book a call, that doesn't mean that they're already sold, okay? So we have a bunch of stuff that we have to do in the education window, which is what I call it, like the time frame between them booking a call and the sales call actually happening, right? You want to get their interest levels as high as possible. They're only going to buy if they're convicted. If they have no more objections, no more questions, that's the only way or only time they're going to buy your high ticket offer. But after booking a call, they might only have like an active interest, maybe, right? Or they're just curious, or maybe even they have strong intent, but they're not convicted yet. Obviously, the sales call is going to do some of the work as well to increase this right here, to get them to be as close to being convicted as possible. But your job before the sales call is to do everything you can to increase this yourself before the sales call happens, right? So you want to make your closer's job as easy as possible. So the way you do that is through a pre-framing thank you page. As I just said, you have the VSL right here, you have FAQ videos, you can have more testimonials, more case studies, a second long-form video, whatever it might be. You can have a lot of assets on the page and send people to that. You can also run retargeting ads, and you should run retargeting ads. All right, so once somebody books a call, you send them, you put them into a custom audience, right? And then you're going to run specific objection handling ads before the call happens to that exact custom audience of people that are currently waiting for their call to happen. Does that make sense? So you're basically going to have objection handling, objection handling ads, case study ads, educating them on the offer, right? You can have a video that educates them on the offer, educates them on the mechanism, right? On the mechanism, you can have long-form nurturing content in those retargeting ads, a lot of things. Again, the goal is to increase their interest levels before the sales call actually happens, right? You can also have setters you have to have setters, right? Call your leads within 5 to 15 minutes. Call them as fast as possible because they're now the hottest, right? You want to pre-qualify them, ask them questions, find out what their main pain points are, main objections, and based on what they say on that setting call, you can then also have video sales assets that are handling specific objections that the prospects have. You know that after a couple of setter calls. So you're going to have pre-recorded videos. Your setters are going to call them. They're going to find out, okay, you're in this situation. Let me send you this video via text, right? To handle your objection. Obviously, they're not going to say to handle your objection, but that's like what this is for. And then you also have 15 long form emails, again, doing the same exact thought process, increasing their interest levels, showing proof, case studies, educating them on the offer and everything. If you do this correctly, right, you're going to turn the sales call into an actual closing call, which it is supposed to be, instead of an education call. You're not going to have 2 call closes anymore. Obviously, you're going to have some of them, right? But most people, if you do this correctly and very, very good, they're going to close on your first sales call because you already did the hard work and got them to as close to being convicted as possible, so that the sales closer only has to like collect the sale, basically, right? That's the funnel. That's the page. You can see the exact same thing with Hyros. No VSL. They actually just put out, they took out their VSL from the page because it works. All right, you're gonna have an application, like very strong offer in the headline, application, case studies, and stuff like that. Specific case studies to the avatar. For this to work, you need a good offer. You need to position your offer the right way, all right? And I'm going to show you exactly how we did it with a SaaS business, a software business, without touching the deliverables of the actual product, okay? So this SaaS business was basically a marketplace that connects brands with UGC creators. So the brands submit a brief, UGC creators send them finished videos, and the brand only pays after they approve the videos, right? That's like the context. And the offer before that was get UGC content for free, and it was a monthly subscription for a couple $100 a month. All right. This to be fair, it worked well on organic, right? But if you want to run cold paid ads profitably, first of all, you're going to have a high ticket offer, and second of all, you're going to have to make this offer cold traffic friendly and outcome based. All right. Without touching the deliverables, here's what we did. We turned this, all right, same exact product. We turned it into 500 unique creator videos for your app. As you can see right here, we have different target avatars. One was an app. We also have e-com e-com brands as target avatars. We have these different target avatars for each one. We're going to personalize this offer. But you have 500 unique creator videos for your app in 60 days guaranteed. You only pay for the ones that you approve, right? Same exact platform, same exact product. And the model is basically, they're going to pay us upfront $3,000. These $3,000 it's going to allow us to scale because we're going to get cash upfront. But it also bills against their it was a $500 a month subscription. It bills against their $500 a month subscription or the monthly plan. So the next 6 months are free. Very cool idea to make your software business a high ticket business, basically. Instead of like having a self-serve monthly plan for a couple $100 a month, you make it done for you. And you basically build a high ticket or charge high ticket and build that against however many months you want to build it against, so that the next months are free. So they pay us upfront. We set it up for them for a high ticket. We set it up for them and run it for them. They just have to approve and pay for the approved ones. If we don't get them 500 submissions, we refund the $3,000 setup fee. Okay, that's how we frame it. So that's how we took an offer that was probably not going to work with this funnel on cold traffic and made it work on cold traffic. All right. Here's another example of Viral Coach. Instead of saying we'll run your social media marketing for you, they say licensed attorneys. And as you can see right here, again, this is another target avatar. Here they are talking to medical professionals. Here they're talking to licensed attorneys, right? Licensed attorneys will get you 1 million views guaranteed. And the difference is, you should see the difference right here. This is not outcome based, right? Or Hyros, they don't say get the best ad tracking for your business, for your ads, or they say 20% higher ROAS on meta ads guaranteed, right? It's all outcome based. It has to be outcome based. You have to have a desired outcome. You have to have a guarantee. You obviously have to have a good mechanism that you're explaining, and then you have to have a model of how you're actually going to deliver on it, and obviously the conditions for your guarantee. That's how you should reposition your offer in order to actually make this work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. This is very offer heavy. If your offer is shit, it's not going to work. Okay, don't do it. It's going to be an uphill battle. All right. So now we have the offer. We know exactly how the funnel pages should be set up, right? We know why it works. Let's now set up the actual campaigns to run the ads to that exact funnel with a good offer, all right? So first of all, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up the campaigns, right? And why there is a specific way you have to set up your campaigns, and then how to create winning ads to put in that ad campaign to drive high quality traffic and high quality leads to your sales funnel and get them to book a call, all right? So Facebook ads campaign structure. So the way Facebook ads work, and before I get into this, there are so many people talking about different ways of running ads, okay? Meta Andromeda, the Andromeda update has made it so easy for you to not fuck up your ads that even if you don't have an optimized ad account, ad campaign, whatever, if you don't have optimized ad creatives, it's still, ad creatives are actually important, but everything else, it's still important, sure, but it's still gonna work out, okay? If you do it in a non-optimal way, right? But in this case, I'm gonna show you exactly how meta ads work, how an ad campaign and an ad set actually work, right? And why you have to set it up in a very specific way. So first of all, you're going to have an ad set, right? So let me just first show you how you're going to set it up. You're going to have one target avatar per campaign. Again, if we're talking to SaaS businesses and e-com businesses and app founders, each of those is going to have its own ad campaign. We don't want to have multiple ads, targeting multiple different target avatars into one campaign because it's going to compete with each other. It makes no sense. Okay. So again, remember, all of your ads, whatever you say in your ads, Meta is going to take it and put it in front of that right type of person. So if you have different campaigns for different target avatars, it's going to optimize for that, which is good. In that ad campaign, you're going to have one control ad set. Obviously, later on, you're going to split test against it, right? But you're going to have one control ad set. I'm going to keep it easy for you. And in that ad set, you're going to have 5 to 12 unique ads, right? Is it going to break if you have more than 12? No, there is no one way to do it. I'm just saying, try this out. Maybe try 15, maybe try 6, maybe try 4, whatever works best for you. But I would run 8 to 10, to be honest. That's what I'm setting up right now. And each ad serves a different purpose in that ad set, right? You don't want to have 20 direct response ads in one ad set because they're all going to compete with each other. How Facebook ads work in an ad set is that all of the ads that you put in an ad set, they're all going to be shown in a sequence, right? So they're going to, Facebook is going to serve you. It's not that they're going to see one ad and they're going to buy your high ticket offer immediately. No, they're going to see one of your ads, right? Facebook is going to lure them in. That's the top of the funnel. Your ad campaign is a funnel, right? There's where the funnel starts. You lure them in, and then Facebook is going to show them the second ad, and then the third ad, and then the fourth ad. They're going to maybe check out your website after the fourth one, and then they are not going to buy maybe, right? And then Facebook shows them the fifth one, and then they're going to be more ready to go ahead and book a call. You see how that works? It works in a sequence. You're going to put Facebook, the ads into one campaign and let Facebook decide which sequence to show your ads in to basically make this work in the best way, right? That's how Facebook ads work. So let me give you an example. If you're talking to SaaS businesses, e-com businesses, agencies, and info businesses, that's what we do, for example, with the software business that I just showed you. You are going to have a different ad campaign for each and every one of them, right? So, and the ads in that campaign are going to be unique and with different angles, right? So for example, with different purposes. So for example, the first one could be a prospecting ad, right? So this lures people in and educates them on the mechanism or the solution that you're providing, right? And maybe you have a soft CTA here. Okay, hook and prospecting ad, I can write plus soft CTA. Okay, you just want to make them aware of whatever it is that you're doing or providing. Okay, now the next one could be the same. You could have 3 ads, for example, in a dynamic creative to see which one of your angles, right? Which one of your angles performs best for your audience in order to get them into this funnel, right? You split test this against each other. It doesn't matter. I'm just giving you the idea, right? So then you're going to have, let's say you have 3 ads right here with different angles. The next ad could be the angle of the first ad right here with a hard CTA instead of a soft CTA. So maybe you're expanding your product even more. I'm going to show you an example ad in a second right here. The next one could be angle 2 with a hard CTA, angle 3 with a hard CTA, whatever it might be. You hit them with different angles and show them why your product makes sense for that respective SaaS business that we're targeting in this case, right? You have different angles to hit them with to get them to convince them. And then after that, you're going to have a straight offer, direct response ad, right? Then you could have a proof-led direct response ad. You can have an objection handling ad, another objection handling ad. You get where I'm going with this, right? So each ad has a different purpose. They're not competing with each other. You don't have 20 straight offer direct response ads in one ad set, right? Because that's just you're gonna pitch them over and over and over again. You want to have build a team of ad creatives so that Facebook can then go ahead and find the best sequence to show your ads in order to convert people, right? That's what you want to do. Now, it's not that you're basically going to say, okay, they're first going to see this ad, then they're going to see this ad, then they're going to see this ad. It doesn't work necessarily like that. Maybe they see this prospecting ad first, and then they straight see the direct response ad, or maybe they see the direct response ad first, whatever it might be, right? It's not that you're going to set up a sequence. Facebook is going to decide the sequence for you, but don't write these ads assuming that they already saw another ad before that. Okay, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, and even if they did, maybe they forgot about it. So each ad should be able to convert a stranger on its own. All right, so don't say, okay, so you've now seen my ad on the solution that I was talking about, and now that's all the way I'm going to talk about this. No, like that's assuming that they already saw the piece of content before that. Don't do it. Okay, instead build up context in each ad so that each ad could potentially convert a stranger on its own. All right, so that's pretty much how you're going to set up your ad campaigns. Right now, let's set up the actual ad creatives, and then you're going to be good to go. Right, this again, you can set this up in a day. Right, you can set it up in a day. It's not that hard, and then you're going to be able to scale to multiple, literally 6 and multiple 6, even 7 figures a month. Our coach is doing $5 million a month with this exact funnel on paid ads. If they can do it, you can do $100,000 a month. Come on, like 250, it's not a big deal, right? So in order to create good ads, again, you're going to need your target avatar, and you're going to need an angle, right? I have Alex Hormozzi's quote right here because it very much describes exactly what you have to do in your ads. If you can accurately describe a prospect's pain in their own language and their own experiences, you can persuade them to buy whatever your product is. Okay. Remember, Facebook, you're basically going to set up ads. Facebook is going to take your ads, and whoever you're talking to, whoever's desires you are describing or pain, roadblocks, whatever, okay, whoever's roadblocks you are describing in that ad, let's say a $5 million a month, a $5 million ARR SaaS business, right? Facebook is going to analyze it and put that ad in front of a $5 million ARR SaaS founder. So if your ad communicates well to them and makes them relate to whatever it is that you're saying, you are going to be able to not only reach them, but you're also going to be able to convert them, right? So avatar and angle. An angle, you already know that, is the big idea of the ad, right? Obviously, this right here is the purpose. When I say prospecting ad with a soft CTA, that's the purpose of the ad. Or when I say straight offer, that's the purpose of that ad. That's not necessarily the angle. For example, when I say prospecting ad, you lure people in and educate them on your offer or your solution, whatever it is that you're providing for the market with a soft CTA. What does that mean about it? Like what could be the angle, right? So like the purpose and the angle is not the same thing. You are going to have an angle for each ad. And an angle could be, for example, talking about their current set of beliefs and shifting that. Right? It could also be a problem that they're experiencing and providing a solution to that. It could also be talking about failed attempts that they had and fixing that. It could also be a frustration. It could be a desired outcome. It could be talking about a competitor. It could be whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to have a big idea of each and every one of your ads, and then you're going to write your ad for like only with that one angle. You're not going to have multiple angles in your ads. Okay. Let me give you an example. Actually, if you're talking to software, if you have a software info, like whatever, an Amazon info offer. Okay, an Amazon info offer, and one ad is talking about how to get in touch with suppliers, right? So that's a problem that they're experiencing. Your clients have the problem to get in touch with suppliers. That's why they can't scale their Amazon business, right? And you want to help them scale it with your info offer. You talk about that in your ad. Okay, so you basically have the angle, yo, you failed to get in touch with suppliers. Here's a better solution to actually fix that problem. That's one angle. In that ad, you don't want to mix in another angle, for example, how to then set up your Amazon storefront. You're going to have two separate angles that are not going to be conflicting with each other. You're going to confuse people. You're going to leave one big angle per ad, okay? So the universal rule here is, again, you need to get into your prospect's head. If you can describe your prospect's current situation or problems better than they could do it themselves, they are going to convert. Okay, and again, you also basically want to assume that Facebook will analyze what the words that you use in your copy and match it with the right type of person. All right, we already talked about that. So obviously, each ad, again, there is no one way to write an ad. I want to be very clear, right? But I've been writing copy for over 3 years now. I know a thing or two about copywriting. I started out as a copywriter like 3-4 years ago. Each ad is going to have, obviously, hook, body, CTA. The hook is, the only job of the hook is to make that one specific person think, that's me. That's it. There is no formula. You don't have to call them out directly. There are different ways you can actually get them to think that's me. You can talk about a specific problem that only that type of person would experience, and then they're also going to raise their hands, right? So you didn't even call them out directly, but you still got them to think that's me. That's your hook's job. And then next up, the body. Right, the only body is to give the only job the body has to do is to give the viewer enough reason to believe that clicking is worth their time. So you're bridging them from, okay, that's me, to, all right, this is actually worth my time. Let me check it out. And the CTA is pretty self-explanatory. Now, again, our ads work in a funnel. We have different ads with different purposes, and that's why we have to script out the ads in a different way. The way you script out your direct response straight offer ad is going to be different from how you script out the first prospecting ad. All right. So what I like to use for the framework that I like to use for top of funnel awareness or middle of funnel ads is the SRPA framework. Okay, this is optimized for for Andromeda, right? I actually analyzed over 100 of my winning ads, and most of them followed this exact same framework. I had no idea, by the way. I didn't do that consciously. I don't use frameworks to write my ads. I just let AI analyze it, and this is what they came up with, right? So basically, this helps us make them familiar with our product. So the middle, obviously, the top of funnel and middle of funnel ads are going to make them familiar with our product and educate them to start pushing them down further in the funnel, okay? SRPA, what does that mean? I'm also going to show you an example of a straight offer ad in a second right here so that you understand we have different ways of scripting out ads based on what the purpose of that specific ad is. But S, the first one of this framework, S is going to be the situation. This acts as your call out, all right? I open on exactly where they're standing right now. SaaS info offer is an example, right? This was a consulting offer for SaaS businesses. We said, so you're close to launching your app, but deep down you already know you have no idea how to actually get users once it's live. And I get it, you're focused on finishing the app right now, but if your plan for getting users is I'll figure it out, or yeah, I'll just post some content and run some ads. So you're basically getting into your prospect's head. This is what people were saying on the sales calls. I got this from the sales calls. I jump into the hook with this, exactly this, right? As you can see right here, there is no crazy hook framework, right? There is no crazy thing that's happening to grab their attention. I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not like doing crazy stuff, right? I'm just talking about their exact situation so that they raise their hands, and somebody who doesn't have an app, right, or is not close to launching an app, maybe they even have a live app, they're not going to like relate to this. So you're naturally filtering out everybody else, okay? Remember how meta ads work in 2026 after the Andromeda update. They're gonna retrieve your ads, they're gonna analyze your ads, and put it in front of the right type of person based on the words that you use in your copy. If I use this right here, if I go straight into their situation, who is this gonna attract? Only your ideal customer. That's how it works, okay? Situation, I call out their exact situation, right? Next up, reframe. Okay, this is again for top of funnel awareness, basically. So I basically take their current set of beliefs and educate them or shift their beliefs, right? So for example, if I'm talking to people that are close to launching and they're really focusing on building the app first instead of marketing it already, I say, you're gonna be in big trouble when you launch. See the app founders who actually succeed have their marketing locked in before they go live. They know what content they're gonna post. They're already probably even started to post. They have this strategy locked in for paid ad, whatever. Like this is a nuanced example, but I reframe their belief, right? I called out their exact belief right here, or I described their belief set and I reframed it so that they now believe, okay, fuck, I have to do marketing now, right? I reframe it. Now I have proof, which is P, right? We have to justify that reframe that we just did or educated or whatever it might be, right? We have to justify it with proof. Maybe you even like explained your unique mechanism and you basically introduce a better way of doing things, right? Whatever it might be, you have to justify whatever you just did in the R, in the reframe, with proof so that they actually believe it works, right? So you could say, look, my latest app did over X million dollars in sales in its first year in 2025, and I can't build anything. My apps weren't pretty at all, especially in the beginning, whatever. I show them proof, I show them my own story, right? This was for an info offer, okay? It depends on what type of offer you're running, right? I'm gonna show you an example of a software business ad right here. But yeah, basically after that, you basically reframed you called out their belief, you reframed it, you showed them proof that the new way or the reframed belief set is better. Now you ask them, you get them to yes, CTA, you basically CTA them, all right? That's an example of how you can script out a top of funnel awareness ad, right? Up the funnel right here. All right, now a straight offer ad, how I would structure that is very different from what I just said, but this is an example right here, okay? For a software business, that same software business that we just talked about, all right? The high ticket, like the marketplace for brands and UGC creators where they connect with each other, right? That exact same offer. So the straight offer ad, I jump in with the hook. The hook is the offer, right? If you're running an app business that's already scaling on meta ads, we'll get your app 500 creator videos in the next 60 days guaranteed, and you only pay for the ones that you approve. Here's how it works. I jump in with the offer. Next, I build demand, right? Remember, obviously, Facebook is going to try and find the best sequence to show your ads in. So preferably, before they see the straight offer ad, they already saw all of these education and middle of funnel, top of funnel ads where we educate them on the problem and soft CTA them and stuff like that. We like preferably that already happened. But again, we don't want to assume that when we are writing out the ads, okay? When we're writing out the ads, we want to have an ad that could even convert people on its own. So we are building demand now. So after we state the offer, we're building demand. So the only pay, blah, blah, blah. Here's how it works. As an app founder doing over 50K a month in volume, you already know how important organic distribution is. Again, I'm only talking to app founders doing over $50,000 a month in volume because that's the target avatar that we're targeting in this one campaign. If it was a SaaS, if it was an e-com business, I would do it in a different way, right? I have words that are implying, I have words in the text, in the copy that are implying who I want to target so that Facebook can then go ahead and find them for me. That's how it works, okay? As an app founder doing over 50K a month of volume, you already know how important organic distribution is. KLAI, Duolingo, Flow, all the big apps you see online scale ridiculously fast to multiple 8 figures by just, I talk about the desired outcome that only that target avatar would have. I'm not talking to app founders doing 1K MRR because they're not gonna fathom what even multiple 8 figures means. Right? This is only going to relate to people that are already doing over 50K a month with their app. All the apps that you saw online scaled ridiculously fast by just flooding TikTok and Instagram with more content than anyone else in their category. You can't reach that type of scale, blah, blah, blah. I'm building the app. You can read this on your own, okay? Now, I'm educating them on this. I'm giving them the solution, right? So we built a marketplace where creators can come to you instead. They send you finished videos, and you don't pay a cent until you've seen them. So what we'll do for you is, and then we go ahead and explain what we do. We show them proof, and then offer plus CTA. Again, after showing proof so that we let them know that it actually works, we CTA them. Our offer for you is simple. If you don't get 500 done for you creator submissions in 60 days, you don't pay us a cent. If you've got a live app and you're already running ads, click below and we'll show you exactly what this looks like for your app. All right. Each ad has its own purpose. You need to figure out the purpose of the ad, find the big idea of that ad, and then script out the ads accordingly. That's how it works. That's the easiest funnel, the multi-avatar funnel that you can run right now. People are starting to implement this right now. If you implement it yourself, you're going to see good results because you're going to have first movers advantage. In a time where everybody's sending people to VSL funnels and long-form webinars, you're going to jump in with this right here, give them an easy option to book a call and get the desired outcome of your offer. It's going to work very well for you. All right. Again, if you want to have a free funnel audit, there's going to be a link in the description. The first link, just check it out. There's a 2-minute video. I'm going to give you free value. Okay. Obviously, with the intention to work with you later on, if you're already doing over $25,000, $30,000 a month with your high-ticket business. But this is not a sales call, right? It's not required for you. I'm not saying you have to work with us, right? You're basically going to fill out a form. Right, give us information about your business so that we can go ahead and do an actual good funnel audit. And from there, I'm going to send you a Loom video, right, with the funnel audit, give you some free value. You can do with it whatever you want, okay? And then from there, you can basically reach out to us if you want to work with us later on, all right? But other than that, I appreciate you watching this video, and I'm going to see you at the next one. Peace.